As we kind of go through these changes in our lives, different moments that we have pivots and divots and big eruptions, it is in those moments that we ask ourselves, who am I now? Not who was I then, not even who am I going to be, but who am I now? And the interesting thing is this becomes a process that has nothing to do with the outside world. It has nothing to do with our successes. It's nothing to do with our accomplishments, what society says success is. It is this peace that is deep inside of us, so deep inside of us that sometimes we don't even know who that is or what that voice is saying. So that's where we then lead ourselves, or we evolve to the place of perhaps asking ourselves, who am I now? It's a piece of awareness. It's a stepping into, or perhaps rooting down into who you are and discovering it. Discovery happens when curiosity occurs, when what I like to say, when we can float down the river, when we can find ourselves at moments of pause and ease, when we can really, really, really stop and listen to what that inside voice is saying. And one of the key individuals that has been so instrumental in my journey that I continue on is this woman named Angelise Aaron. And she's an anthropologist. She she's a historian. She is an author, and she's written many books. And this particular book, The Fourfold Way, is an amazing book, very easy to read. And she goes into a lot of archetypes and mythology. And all of that has been a piece of me and a piece of you, all of our lives and all of those before us. And what I would like to offer you today as you go on this journey of who am I now? Some of the questions that you can ask yourself, which what I'm about to give you, offer you, is something that has affected all of us. What Angelise talks about here is that we have 4 universal addictions. All of us have them. And at different points in our lives, we come into different contact of them. Sometimes they're looked at, well, they are the shadow side of who we are. But it's very important for us to take those shadow sides and bring them home to us. Allow them to be part of who we are, because they are the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. It's all within us. So the 4 basic principal patterns that humans share are the addiction to intensity, to perfection, the addiction to the need to know, and the addiction to be fixated on what's not working. And I'll briefly give you a description as to what this is. The addiction to intensity is often demonstrated by individuals who have a low tolerance for boredom. If things become too dull, too routine, people who are addicted to intensity will dramatize, sensationalize, and exaggerate their life experiences in order to feel alive. And the opposite side of intensity, or the addiction to intensity, is love. The second one is the addiction to perfection. This is very interesting because perfection is not excellence. Perfection does not tolerate mistakes, whereas excellence incorporates and learns from your mistakes. People who have an addiction to perfection have little tolerance for mistakes or exposure of vulnerability of any kind. They equate vulnerability to weakness rather than strength. I'm sure that makes sense to a lot of us as we've grown up in a world of no, 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 put on your big girl pants, no, 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 no tears, boys don't cry. Whenever we are addicted to perfection, we begin to walk the procession of the living dead or become like walking mannequins. We deny our humanness and invest all of our energy in maintaining a cultivating image and a facade of how we want to seem in the world rather than exposing who we really are. Who am I now? Perfection is the shadow side of excellence. The next one is the addiction, the need to know. And if you are a mother out there, you can relate to this. We need to know. And that's a whole other world that we're going to talk a little bit more about, and the importance of letting go. But the addiction, the addiction to the need to know is, one is driven and compulsive about the need to know and the need to understand. These individuals do not like surprises or unexpected events. We are addicted to the need to know when we become masters of control. And we have strong trust issues. Everything needs to be compartmentalized, information needs to be controlled, and relationships need to be strategized. We become dogmatic, righteous, critical, and arrogant. These characteristics are the shadow side of wisdom. And you mothers out there, as we step into and let go of the control with our children and our lives and all the lives that we've lived up to this point, it is that then when we get rooted and we stand in our wisdom that we really embrace our empowerment. And the last one is the addiction of being fixated on what is not working. This is a biggie. The truth is that the majority of our life, when we look at it as a whole, really actually is working. The big picture, it's working. We get stuck on the micro. It's only a portion of the big slice of life that isn't working, Angeles says, but it's not the whole. If this addiction is well developed, there's a tendency to magnify negative experiences and blow them out of proportion. We tend to look at life from a fixed perspective. We don't recognize our blind spots, and we're unable to trust our intuitive information. This then leads us to our 4 ways of seeing and the importance of discovering who we are. And that's about listening to our intuition, recognizing when we do have insight in something. What is our perception and our vision? So if none of us get out of this for free, we all have these pieces, this shadow of addictions. Might I ask you this question? What are you addicted to? How is it affecting you? And how is it how is it changing who you are? Who are you then? Who were you then? Who are you now? And what do you need to do to shift, to change, to open, to listen, to pay attention to what this is saying to you? Who are you now?